Okay, so you know that feeling, right? Like when you just start to feel a cold coming on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like everyone's got the same advice, drink fluids, the usual.
Right.
But what if there was a way to kind of fight back a bit more actively?
Well, there might be, and that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at some really interesting research from Dr. Neymotin.
Yeah.
Specifically an excerpt from Fighting Colds and Viruses Using Strategic Fitness Routines.
It's a fascinating approach.
It is. And what I find really interesting is that it's not just about, like, general fitness.
Yeah, no.
Like, oh, be healthy and you'll be better able to fight off illness. It's like,
right.
No, this is a very specific type of exercise at the onset of illness.
Exactly. A targeted strategy.
Right. And that's what we're going to try to understand today, how this specific routine could actually give you an edge in those early stages.
Right, from the get-go.
Exactly. So maybe we should start with this idea of, we're talking about fighting viruses. The source material talks about viruses having these comfort zones.
Right.
Which, I don't know, it sounds a little too comfortable for something that makes us feel so awful.
Right. Well, it's not like they're cozying up on the couch.
Right.
But, the idea here is that viruses, like any biological organism, have certain conditions where they thrive.
Right.
They're more stable. They replicate more efficiently. And for a lot of viruses, a key factor is temperature.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the research suggests that a lot of these viruses are actually happier in cooler temperatures.
So wait, so while we're bundling up trying to stay warm when we're sick,
exactly,
these viruses are like, ooh, yeah, a little chilly, perfect.
Yeah, kind of like that. And it's not just theoretical,
Right.
The source actually gives a really interesting example from the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, okay.
They observed that infection rates were higher in places like meatpacking facilities, which are often kept very cold.
Oh, wow. That makes sense.
Compared to, say, offices or factories.
Right. More standard room temperature kind of places.
Yeah, exactly. And the source really emphasizes these important real-world consequences.
Right. It's not just a lab thing. It's actually impacting people's lives.
Precisely. And it really makes you think about those over-air-conditioned spaces, doesn't it?
Totally. And so, we've got these viruses that are loving the cold.
Right.
But how does our own body temperature factor into all of this? How does our immune system interact with that?
Okay, so this is where it gets really fascinating because there's this inverse relationship.
Okay.
You see, Dr. Neymotin points out that our immune system actually weakens when our body temperature drops too low.
So we're giving the virus an advantage on two fronts.
Unfortunately, lower temperature makes the virus happier and potentially weakens our defenses.
Got it.
And on the flip side, as we already discussed, most viruses become less stable at higher temperatures.
So it really is this battleground, and temperature is the weapon.
Exactly. And this is where the whole idea of shivering comes in.
Right. Our body's natural way of trying to warm up.
Precisely. It's like this built-in defense mechanism trying to fight back, and that's where the strategic fitness routine comes in.
Okay. So this is where it gets really practical.
Right.
What is this routine? What are we actually talking about doing here?
The core idea is incorporating short bursts of very high effort exercise into your day.
Okay, so not necessarily like a long workout?
No. It's not about endurance or building muscle. It's about these short, intense bursts designed to spike your body temperature.
I see. So it's more manageable, especially when you're feeling sick.
Exactly. And you spread these bursts out throughout the day.
And why is that?
Well, there's a couple of reasons.
Okay.
Firstly, these repeated temperature spikes make the environment inside your body much less stable for the virus.
It's like disrupting their little party.
Exactly. And secondly, these intense bouts of exercise can actually stimulate your immune system.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like a double whammy, making the virus uncomfortable and boosting your defenses.
I like it, and the source mentions this device called the IsoTone. What is that exactly?
Yeah. So the IsoTone is a portable resistance exercise device.
Okay.
And the key thing for this strategy is that it has automatic resistance adjustment.
So what does that mean?
It means no matter what your fitness level, you can push yourself hard enough to get that intense workout and that temperature spike.
So it's accessible to basically everyone.
Exactly. And it's portable, so you can use it anywhere.
Which makes sense if you're doing these short bursts throughout the day.
Precisely. And Dr. Neymotin stresses that the best time to start this routine is at the very first sign of symptoms.
Before you're even really feeling that sick.
Exactly. Because that's when the viral load is likely still low.
Right. You want to stop it before it really takes hold.
Precisely. The goal is to give your immune system a boost before the infection gets too strong.
It's like a preemptive strike.
Exactly. And the source is really clear about that being the central goal of this whole anti-cold strategy.
That makes sense.
And there's a note about clothing, too.
Oh, yeah. What's that about?
They suggest wearing warm clothes generally to help keep your baseline temperature up.
Okay.
But they caution against overdressing during the exercise.
So don't like bundle up in a sweater and then start working out.
Exactly. You don't want to overheat or sweat too much. The goal is a brief internal heat spike, not to become overheated.
That makes sense. So this routine is just one part of staying healthy, right?
Absolutely. It's meant to be in addition to standard preventative measures.
Like what?
Things like getting your flu shot.
Right.
And eating a healthy diet, focusing on things that boost your immune system, like vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc.
So it's about combining all these different approaches for maximum benefit.
Exactly, working together for a stronger immune system.
So let's talk about the specific exercises that Dr. Neymotin recommends.
Sure.
The first one is called the elbow squeeze.
Right, so for this one, you hold the IsoTone at chest height with your elbows bent.
Okay.
And the exercise involves 2 phases. A push phase where you squeeze the handles together.
Okay.
And then a pull phase where you pull them apart explosively. And this engages a lot of different muscles in your chest arms, even your fingers.
Sounds efficient.
It is. And there's also a unique aspect to the grip.
Oh, what's that?
So as you transition between the push and pull, you actually adjust your grip.
How do you mean?
You start with your palms mainly, and then you shift to using your fingers more to drive the resistance.
Interesting. And why is that important?
Well, it helps activate those smaller muscles in your hands and forearms.
Okay.
And that creates more overall tension in your upper body.
And how does that help fight off a cold?
That increased tension, along with the push-pull movement, promotes blood circulation.
Right.
And that, combined with the exercise itself, gives you a big aerobic effect.
So it's like a jump start for your system.
Exactly. You can use it as a warm-up or even as a standalone exercise when you first feel those symptoms.
So elbow squeeze, chest height, push and pull with that grip change. Got it.
Right.
What's next?
Okay, the next one's called the front press.
All right.
Similar push-pull dynamic, but this time you hold your arms straight out in front of you.
So I'm guessing that targets different muscles.
Exactly. You're hitting the shoulders and upper chest more with this one.
Okay.
You can press the IsoTone for the push and then expand it rapidly for the pull.
Got it. And still using those grip adjustments.
Absolutely. The source emphasizes that for all these exercises.
Right. You want to make sure you're engaging everything.
Precisely. Now, how does this one help with those early stage viruses?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Well, the source suggests alternating between the front press and the elbow squeeze.
Oh, like a 1-2 punch?
Exactly. Maybe do 20 reps of each in a set.
Okay.
This gives you a wider range of muscle engagement, but keeps the intensity high.
Mm-hmm.
And those larger muscles help raise your body temperature faster and more evenly.
So a good combination.
Definitely. All right, moving on. We have the high press.
Okay, high press, what's that one like?
For this one, you hold the IsoTone straight above your head, arms extended.
Okay, so now we're going vertical.
Exactly. And again, it's a squeeze and expand motion.
Got it. So what muscles are we working here?
This one really hits your shoulders, upper back, and arms.
Okay.
But it also engages your core because you need that stability to hold the IsoTone overhead.
Right. You're using your legs and abs too, just to stay balanced.
Precisely. And the source suggests that this vertical motion might have another benefit.
So what's that?
It could potentially help flush out viral particles from your nasal passages and throat.
Really? By encouraging blood flow to that area.
Exactly. And it's also good for waking you up in the morning or for a midday energy boost.
So a multi-purpose exercise.
Absolutely. All right. And finally, we have the iso squat.
Okay. Iso squat. This sounds like a full body one.
It combines squats with the isotone resistance.
Okay. And there are 2 variations, right?
Yes. Front and back. Starting with the iso squat front, you hold the isotone in front of you, chest height.
Right.
As you squat down, you expand the isotone, and as you come up, you contract it.
So the resistance is working with the movement.
Exactly. And you're hitting a lot of muscles here. Legs, glutes, core, chest, arms.
Wow. A real powerhouse.
It is. And for the iso squat back, you hold the isotone behind you.
Okay.
The source doesn't explicitly say, but I'm guessing the push and pull is reversed to balance the muscles work.
Makes sense.
This variation really focuses on the back of your body, hamstrings, glutes.
Okay.
And it's generally a bit harder.
So why do both variations?
Because you want balanced muscle development, and the iso squat is great for cardiovascular stimulation.
Which ties back to that temperature increase.
Exactly. It's very effective at getting your heart rate up and driving that internal temperature into the virus fighting zone.
So I've got the elbow squeeze, front press, high press, and iso squat front and back.
Right. And the source suggests 30 to 40 reps for the upper body exercises and 15 to 20 for each iso squat variation.
And all at maximum effort.
Right. You want to be breathing hard, feeling your heart rate up. That's when you know you're getting that aerobic benefit and activating your immune system.
And Dr. Neymotin's conclusion really brings it all home.
It does.
He emphasizes that this whole approach is based on solid science, the connection between body temperature and immune function.
Right. It's about using your body's own heat production to fight back.
And the IsoTone is designed to make it easy to do that.
Exactly. It's portable, adjustable, so anyone can use it.
And he even encourages listeners to check out their YouTube playlist and website.
Right. They have more information and demonstrations there.
So the message is clear. Stay warm, stay active, and fight viruses the smart way with IsoTone.
So there you have it, a different way of thinking about those early cold symptoms.
It's about taking action, giving your body a fighting chance.
And it really makes you wonder, could doing these short bursts, even when you're healthy, help boost your overall resilience?
That's a great question.
And beyond temperature, what other ways might our bodies naturally fight off pathogens?
Fascinating stuff. Definitely something to think about.
For sure.
Well, we encourage you to explore those resources, the IsoTone YouTube playlist and website for more information.
Definitely worth checking out.
And thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious and stay healthy.
Right on.